Hey guys, what's up? Best Axe here. So we've just had some really cool changes regarding Rep Paladin released on the Shadowlands beta, and I just want to go over the stuff. Like, I'm really excited for some of these changes, so I just want to chat about them, give you my thoughts and feedback on it. So we'll jump straight in with the legendary item effect. Now this was the much anticipated Badge of the Mad Paragon nerf. For any of you who didn't know, this was a legendary effect that made Hammer of Wrath extend the duration of wings by 2 seconds. And then also it gave you a 20% damage increase to Hammer of Wrath flat too. So it was cool. It was really good. But even more so when used in conjunction with the Nightfade Covenant ability, Blessing of Seasons. So one of the blessings, because what happens with the blessings of the seasons is you cycle through these 4 different seasons during combat, and they each give you a different thing or do a different thing. And one of them, I believe it was Blessing of Autumn. Basically, it gave you 50% increased cooldown or decreased cooldown recovery. So it basically it halved the cooldown while it was active of your abilities. So thinking about Hammer of Wrath here with this Badge of the Mad Paragon legendary effect, you can get twice as many Hammer of Wraths out, which meant even more duration on wings. I think I saw like 50-60 second wings durations in a video somewhere, which was just crazy. And in my opinion, like it's not great gameplay. Anything that I don't know just has you has you with like that much uptime on wings, like it means you need to have like so much uptime over a long period of time. For a class like Ret with our limited mobility, it's not great. So I don't think it was great design, and I am glad they made this change. Well, in conjunction with the change they've made to the Venthyr Covenant ability. So you might look at this on its own out of context and think they just gutted it completely. It's still, I mean, it's still pretty good. It's still pretty strong. But when you look at the Venthyr Covenant ability change, which is Ashen Hallow, so for those of you who don't know, what you do is you place it on the ground, and you can use Hammer of Wrath on any target within it. I think regardless of whether you've got wings up or not, or whether regardless of whether the target's 20% health or less. What they've done, because it did some AoE damage, it still does, but just less. But they've also added an extra effect, and its Hammer of Wrath damage is increased by 100%. So think about that in conjunction with the new Badge of the Mad Paragon design, and you still get the extension on the wings duration. Don't get me wrong, like, so it's still very good in that department too. But like your Hammer of Wrath are going to be hitting like Templar's Verdicts, or maybe even more. Like I haven't got a chance to hop on and test it out yet. I think the servers are still down, but that's like so much more fun and engaging gameplay than what it was looking like it was going to be previously. They have nerfed Blessing of Autumn too. Yeah, so it's 30% faster rather than 50% faster. So I don't know. I think the blessings need to rework. I don't know, the Blessing of Seasons. I don't know. It doesn't. It's not fun gameplay. It's really clunky. This is much better, fun and engaging gameplay. I think it's great, and it rewards you for being efficient. And it rewards you for making good decisions and stuff too. Like when you're in the fight, you're going to use it when you get the most benefit out of it, the most duration out of it. So this is really good. And also to mention, like obviously one of the good things about previously looking like it was going to be Nightfade would go for is you had Soul Shape every 2 minutes, which is like a movement speed thing. You turn to like an animal and run around like faster for 8 seconds or so. I think. With Venthyr, sorry, you get like a teleport. So both, this is great that we've gone from one, or potentially taking one Covenant, to looking like, at least for optimal kind of PvE performance, looking like we're going to take another one, which also has an effect on our mobility. Because from Rets, with our wheelchairs, anything that helps us with our mobility is great. So this is awesome. I'm really happy with this. There were some other changes too, and these are also some really good changes. So the first thing is that they've redesigned Execution Sentence. Well, they're just bringing back the old one. So it's a falling hammer, for those of you who don't know. So when you put it on a target, a hammer falls on their head, and when it hits, it does a big burst of damage. This is much better, in my opinion, than the current iteration of it on retail, for example, that we've had since Legion. Because something that requires that much uptime in a short space of time, like a lot can go wrong. And yeah, okay, it rewards you for playing well or using it correctly for sure. But there's just a lot of disparity if you hold it or whatever. And it's just, this is much better. It's just much better design. As long as it's tuned correctly, you can pop it on a target. for some, you know, increased priority target damage. You can use it from range as you're running over to a target. It's just really good. Really, really good. Just to be able to put it on a target and let it do its thing. Now, there were some really fucky situations as well where, like, you might have had, I don't know, like, I was worried, I guess it's better to say, that it might be that you had to take Execution Sentence, Seraphim, and Inquisition, which were all on different talent rows. That would be, it would have been like 15 seconds before you could actually get into your rotation. So that wasn't cool. But that's obviously as well, the reason I say that is because they have actually removed Inquisition from the talent tree completely, and they replaced it with something called Final Reckoning, which is like awesome. I'll show you guys what it does. So Final Reckoning, it's a 30-yard range, it's a minute cooldown, doesn't require any holy power to use it, and we'll read it. It calls down a blast of heavenly energy, dealing 250% of attack power holy damage to all targets in the area and causing them to take 50% increased damage from your holy power abilities for 8 seconds. Passive, while off cooldown, your attacks have a high chance to cool down a bolt that deals 50% of attack power holy damage and causes the target to take 10% increased damage from your next holy power ability. Wow. Like, this is a great thing to be able to have in our toolkit. It's an extra thing we can use. We can use it on different packs. Like currently on retail, yeah, you can pretty much use wings on each pack because you have Visions of Perfection Minor, which is like makes wings a 1 minute and 30-second cooldown, and you have the Corruptions Ineffable Truth, which reduces your cooldowns even further. So you can pretty much get it out for every pack, depending on how high a key you're doing. But also you can use it frequently during boss fights and stuff too. It just, to have all your damage go into that kind of wings window, it's just not fun. Like, and it's just, all you're doing is generating holy power to spend on Divine Storm, or if you single target Templar's Verdict. Again, it's just, it's not very engaging, it's not very fun. But to have this to use and decide when to use it for maximum effectiveness, like, this is awesome. This is I mean, it's just going to be a nuclear explosion every minute. I think it's great. Now, obviously, Divine Storm is still capped. And Consecration still does like pretty crappy damage at the moment. It's not really worth using as a dead button. But this is really, really good, and it's definitely, I think, for the devs, taking in the right direction for sure. Like, I'm really excited about this one. The passive, so don't get too hooked by it. It doesn't mean, from what I can see, just doing some napkin math quickly, like, I don't think it means that you're going to hold it like in a single target situation to get, like, and that's going to be a better benefit for you from that passive than using it. That might be the intent of the design. If that's the case, you need to tune that a bit higher. But from what I'm seeing here, it looks like it's just going to punish you much less for holding it. So if you need to hold it for a priority target that's coming into a fight at some point, you're not going to be punished as much for doing that, which I think is great. Anything that isn't like, that you don't have to just keep using on cooldown, otherwise you're going to get much less performance, I think is good. I think it's a good little passive to have on there, so it just doesn't punish you as much by holding it, because it encourages good gameplay. You know, like, it's like, yeah, okay, if you used it immediately, you're going to get better usage and your numbers are going to be slightly higher, but you're not being punished as much by holding it and doing your job, your role as DPS, by holding it for a priority target, for example. So this is really, really good. It's a really, really good change. It's definitely the right direction that Ret needs to move in, especially combined with the other changes too, with the Hammer of Wrath interaction. I think it's great. So there were some other minor changes too. I mean, it's just the Ashen Hallows, just goes over that here. But also Healing Hands, which is a talent. It basically is redesigned to buff both Lay on Hands and Word of Glory, and to have its effects scale continuously with target health rather than having a cliff. Again, really good. It plays into the Ret's utility, which is great. You know, we're not just like, I don't know, another melee like a warrior or something like that. Like, our utility is our support. We've got Blessing of Protection, of Sacrifice. We have lots of really good off healing to use, where like a warrior can, you know, shout and buff the HP of everyone around them. This really plays into that thematic of being like a support DPS. So this is really good. It's a really good change too. So my thoughts on what I would still like to see for Ret in Shadowlands is, I would like to see Consecration doing more damage. It's a dead button at the moment, honestly. Like, it doesn't even generate holy power. So if it did that, maybe there'd be an argument to use it, but it doesn't generate any holy power, and the damage it does is completely negligible. So I mean, I'm thinking that it's going to get a change. Like, if it goes out as it currently is, it's just not worth using at all. And to have an extra thing to use in AoE than Divine Storm is great. It would be awesome to have. So that would be good if they scaled that damage up a bit more and maybe gave us a holy power for using it. But also, I would like to see Seraphim be made a minute cooldown and maybe buff it to like 10% for the stats. That would be really, really cool too. So they basically said as well, like Seraphim's role is kind of replaced the Inquisition here too. Supplanted. They said by the class-wide talent. So it would just be good if it's even just for Ret, if it was a minute. If it was just a minute cooldown, because it would line up really, really well with Final Reckoning that way, and I just think it would just flow so much better. But we'll see. And the other thing is just I would like to see Blade of Justice made holy damage, just so it interacts with our mastery. But there's arguments. People say, well, it's a blade going through a target. That's physical. How is that not physical? I don't know. Like, it'd be nice if it did, but that's just a very minor thing. I think for me, the consecration thing is the biggest thing right now. But the gameplay is looking really, really good for Ret Paladins, especially with these changes. For sure. So yeah, these are my thoughts on the matter. Obviously, if you have an opposing opinion or different opinion or whatever, please leave a comment below. I'd love to have a chat with you. I love Ret Paladins. I'm very passionate about playing Ret. So if you want to have a chat, you're a fellow Ret Paladin, definitely hop down below in the comments and let's have a chat. I will be testing this out on my stream over the next week at some point just to see how it plays. And it'd be good to have you there. So that's twitch.tv/Vestax. But thank you for tuning in today, guys. This is looking really, really great. I'm really excited. I hope you are too. And I think tomorrow is the 27th of August, so it's Gamescom. So it looks like we might even get a release date for Shadowlands. So that'd be even better too. So great things on the horizon, guys. Thank you for watching today. Have a great day, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.